Now, it seems we are never out of the sound of the Dead March. It comes and it comes, until I feel inclined to close my ears and scream, "Merry Chestnut."
It is May, 1864. The American Civil War has dragged on for 3 bloody years, and now, in the midst of a re-election campaign, President Abraham Lincoln is anxious to see the Union Army put a swift end to the rebelling Confederacy of Southern states. Lincoln has appointed Ulysses S. Grant Lieutenant General in command of the entire United States Army, assigning him one mission: bring the fight to the enemy and win this war. The men of the Ninth Corps comprise 5,000 of this 100,000-man army. They are the ancestors of the Revolutionary Patriots of Lexington and Concord, and the grandsons of those who defended Fort McHenry as the Star-Spangled Banner was written. Their fathers had assaulted Chapultepec with Winfield Scott and toiled on New England whaling ships. Some were laborers at home and have exchanged their work at the mill for that of digging trenches. These men are the brothers of boys buried across the Atlantic Ocean in the old country who suffered the potato famine at the hands of the Crown. Now they fight for a nation they have only just set foot in. The army is built of Catholic city dwellers and Protestant country folk, factory workers and farm boys. Most march with rifles to their shoulders, some with swords or drums, and all under one flag whose stars and stripes exalt equality for all men. From Bull Run to Antietam, Fredericksburg, and Gettysburg, this army knows the enemy they face well. These men are veterans. They are ready. Overland they march to fight, and die if necessary, for a new birth of freedom. For the Southerners, this coming fight has been long in the making, the climax of a contest that has simmered since 1776 and now come to a boil. In the hearts and minds of these Southern men, there is one question. Are these American states not sovereign from foreign control? Did their great-grandfathers not declare their independence in assertion of their right to self-determination? Just as those men rebelled against the armies of King George marching on Lexington and Concord, the Southern states see themselves in rebellion. These men are the descendants of those who resisted Inquisition alongside Elizabeth I, fought the Roundheads to defend their birthright, and defied the English at the fields of Culloden. Rebellion is in their blood, and tales of warriors are their inspiration. The Army of Northern Virginia will fight to defend their hearth and home against an invading army. For many, the coming fight is quite literally on their doorstep. The fields are theirs to plant tobacco, the rivers theirs to fish, and woods theirs to hunt deer. They know these roads and sights on the route of march, where some went to school or married their sweethearts. The capital of the Confederate States, Richmond, Virginia, lies only 70 miles away from these armies. Within the city, the atmosphere is still one of hope. The whole South is mobilized, and the effects of war are felt everywhere. As the war grows closer to home, an impending storm can be felt across the land. The Army of Northern Virginia marches along the plank road into the wilderness to hunt the enemy. General Robert E. Lee, aware that Grant is poised for attack, has moved forward with his own army to meet the Yankees in the dense and tangled woods just below the Rapidan River. A bid to fight on terms that make the best of his lesser numbers and neutralize the advantages held by Grant's Army of the Potomac. After 3 years of hard fighting, the men of the Army of Northern Virginia are seasoned veterans. As they march, skeletons become visible. Bodies of their comrades fallen from battle at this same place just 1 year before. These soldiers know the cost, the toll. Whether shoeless at Sharpsburg or without a greatcoat at Fredericksburg, they have endured many hardships and made do with less. These privations are not burdens today. The Army is well clothed and shod thanks to freshly issued jackets, pants, shoes, blankets, knapsacks, and muskets imported from Great Britain. For once, these men look like an army. Whether they joined in '61 to impress a girl, or because everyone else around them was enlisting, it mattered little now. These men are fighting for each other. For the officers, their training has been a baptism by fire. From Stonewall Jackson's fatal victory at Chancellorsville to Pickett's humiliating defeat at Gettysburg last summer, too many of the men who took commissions in '61 are gone now. Those men had been the illustrious aristocracy of the Old South, veterans of Mexico, commanders of their local militias, captains of police and fire companies, and graduates of the South's esteemed military schools. To make up for their losses, new officers have been elected from the ranks by their own peers. Men with no formal education or training who enlisted as privates now command companies and battalions.
Let's move the rest of the platoon out.
Establishing a perimeter in the square.
Yes.
Want us to get
Let's move
First
up.
platoon, form on me.
Ever present are the other class of officers, politicians, businessmen, and social elites.
There's been scattered rifle fire, but nothing much.
Those who know holding rank will write their names upon the annals of history. Some are incompetent, some proven under fire. The appearance of the Southern Officer Corps is just as eclectic as their composition. That is the state of Lee's army, a fighting force in slow decline that can't be fully felt yet.
Captain Smith! Yes! Recall all your men, please! Yes!
Captain John Miller, 12th South Carolina Infantry, lawyer and former state representative. He is the cousin of socialite Mary Chestnut, owner and editor of the York Enquirer, married to the wealthy Mary Sadler, with whom he has 5 children.
What we must expect. A bill is before the Yankee Congress, whose object, as stated in the New York Herald, is to divide the states of rebels among the Yankee, colored sailors and soldiers. Let every Southern man look to it, not only those who have estates, but those who have none, over whose heads the Yankees thus intend to put the debased Northern Negroes and runaway slaves. These are to be the property holders of the Confederacy, if the Confederacy should be insane enough to permit such a result. Better give not only half, but all that a man can offer to prevent such a fate.
Charles W. MacArthur, former commander of Company E, the Montgomery Guards. He was elected lieutenant colonel of the entire regiment last year. He has 1 week left to live.
Keep it closed up. Remember your team.
Waiting in line are thousands of well-equipped Confederate soldiers. They are about to receive the order to advance by General John Gordon. One Southerner remarks of the general,
"He's the most prettiest thing you ever did see on a field of fight. It'd put fighting to a whipped chicken. Just look at him."
General Gordon would address his men.
Soldiers, we have always driven the enemy before us. But this day, we are going to scatter them like the leaves of the forest.
For Georgia, boys!
The 9th Corps has secured the Confederate breastworks. The men in gray fall back in disorder. Deep in the woods, the 61st Georgia prepares for counterattack.
The day is lost, and we must move them! Now let any man who is faint of heart fall out! You will not be hurt for it! For we want none to go but heroes! We want brave Georgians!
The rebel yell was raised at some point on the right of the line.
Battalion! Forward! March!
Heard like the rumbling of a distant railroad train, it came rushing down the lines like the surging of the waves upon the ocean, increasing in loudness and grandeur. In passing, it would be heard dying away on the left in the distance. Again it was heard coming from the right, to die away again on the distant left. It was renewed 3 times, each time with increased vigor. It was a yell like the defiant tones of the thunderstorm, echoing and re-echoing. It caused such dismay among the Federals that it is said their pickets fired and ran in. George C. Underwood, 26, North Carolina.
It was a battle fought with the ear, not with the eye. Nearly 200,000 veteran troops had struggled in a death rabble confronted at each step with almost every obstacle which nature can bar a path. And groping their way through the tangled forest, the impenetrable gloom of which can be likened only to the shadow of death. All senses seemed to combine to make the scene one of unutterable horror. Horace Porter, Lieutenant, General Grant's staff.
General Lee put his troops in motion. Without a pause, they formed in line of battle, arrested the enemy's advance, and drove him rapidly back. General Lee put himself at the head of the troops to conduct the attack in person, but the men swarmed around him, telling him with tears in their eyes that he must go back, and that if he would go back, they would make short work of the enemy. It was the moment to make a bold stroke for victory. Captain Francis Dawson.
The business of war is to kill and maim. And the quicker this is accepted as a hard and bitter necessity, the better are the soldiers. But the moans and wailings of the wilderness battlefield stirred the stoutest hearts, and yet they could not be relieved. Wounded men make but little demonstration and rarely utter an outcry. Regimental Historian, 118th Pennsylvania.
Cut them down!
just then, General Jenkins, who commanded a South Carolina brigade in our corps, rode up, his face flushed with joy, and shaking hands with Longstreet congratulated him on the result of the fight. Jenkins, rising up in his stirrups, shouted out, "Steady, men! For God's sake, steady!" and fell mortally wounded from his saddle. Longstreet, who had stood there like a lion at bay, reeled as the blood poured down over his breast and was evidently badly hurt. My own conviction was that we had ridden into the midst of the enemy and that nothing remained but to sell our lives dearly. Surrounding the ambulance, we met General Lee, and I shall not soon forget the sadness in his face and the almost despairing movement of his hands when he was told that Longstreet had fallen. Captain Francis Dawson.
Forest fires raged. Ammunition trains exploded. The dead were roasted in the conflagration. The wounded, roused by its hot breath, dragged themselves along with their torn and mangled limbs in the mad energy of despair to escape the ravages of the flames. It seemed as if Christian men had been turned to fiends, and hell itself had usurped the place of earth. Lieutenant Horace Porter.
Quiet wilderness would suddenly become alive with the angry flashing and heavy roar of musketry, mingled with the yells of the combatants as they swayed to and from in the gloom and thickness. Evander Wall, Brigade Commander, Longstreet's Corps.
I was tired, almost to death, and hungry as a wolf. Had been fighting for Uncle Sam's Constitution to the best of my ability, and now I thought it was important to pay a little attention to myself. My patriotism was nigh used up, and so was I. Private Wilbur Fisk.
bringing up the rear. Okay.
Suddenly, the enemy closed in upon the rear of the regiment and cut off its retreat in that direction. A desperate attempt was then made to escape by another route, but it failed. Finding his command completely surrounded, Colonel Bollinger was compelled to surrender to save his regiment from being cut to pieces. As it was, many of his brave men were left in the wilderness, never to be heard from again. The colonel and 271 of the officers and men were made prisoners. 40 escaped through the swamps and woods and returned to camp. Josiah Reinhardt Cipher, newspaper correspondent.
An initial victory for Grant's army has turned into a confused and fiery retreat thanks to Gordon's bold strategy. The U.S. forces collapse as new Confederates appear from the Smoky Woods by the hundreds. Captain John Miller, 12th South Carolina, shot in the bowels, dies the next day, leaving behind his 5 children and a wife. James Hamilton, Captain 105th Pennsylvania Company I.
He was just a blue-eyed Boston boy.
Shot by a ball through the head. Killed.
His voice was low with pain.
James D. Van Valkenburg, Major, 61st Georgia, hailed as a hero for his victory at the Wilderness. Killed 1 month later outside of Washington, D.C.
But if you ride back and I am left, you'll do as much for me.
William W. Wilson, 1st United States Sharpshooters, 22 years old, veteran of 27 battles. He has seen more battles than years of his life. Shot through the legs and killed.
I had a division of regulars once. I buried half of them at Gettysburg, and the other half in the wilderness. There's no regulars left. General Roman B. Ayers.
As the news of the Battle of the Wilderness reaches Washington via telegram, John W. Forney, the Secretary of the Senate, walked into the Oval Office.
My God. My God. 20,000 poor souls sent to their final account in one day. I cannot bear it. I cannot bear it. Let me read you this from Macbeth. I cannot read it like the actor Forrest, but it comes to me tonight like a consolation. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle! Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
But something was forged that day in the wilderness of Virginia. Out of the horror of combat came the determination and will of one commander and his men to bring it all to an end. Marching away from that devilish inferno, Grant's columns made a turn, not back home to the north. They marched farther south and would not turn back to Washington as the others had before. Grant would bring the fight to Richmond and end the war. Grant could replenish his ranks with more able-bodied men, and Lee could not. The seeds sown in the dense Virginian underbrush that day were those of Lee's defeat. They wouldn't be harvested until nearly a year later at a place called Appomattox.
She's waiting at home like a patient saint. Her fond face pale with woe. Her heart will be broken when I am gone. I'll see her soon, I know. Just then the order came to charge. For an instant's hand touched hand. They said I, and away they rode. That brave